Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are speaking with our amazing guest experts and return guest experts like our guest today about how to lead and thrive with everything going on planet Earth right now, how to channel the solutions, technologies for where we are going as soul-led leaders. I am your host, Anna Kowalska, and today it truly is joy personally, but also an honor, and I'll tell you why. Our returning guest, Jennifer Longmore, is coming here in a new way that she has come ever in a salon or many places ever at all. So it's joy for me personally because Jennifer has been in the salon many times and we are friends, but also such an honor to have a different experience of what she's bringing in. So let me just say a few words. Jennifer is an award-winning CEO, best-selling author. She is the founder and the creator of #1 Akashic Record training school in the world. And most importantly, right now, she is the clear channel for Mother Malia, who is the great mother who comes to Earth during times of great transition, like the collective ascension we are experiencing right now. So, I am truly honored, and I've been tingled from the moment that Jennifer entered the Zoom room to have this experience, to have this conversation with the energy that Mother Malia represents. So welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Mother Malia. Thank you for being in the salon.
Thank you for having me back. It is my honor. I just adore you to the moon and back. And for those of you that are maybe meeting Anna for the first time, I really hope that you stay connected with her because she is one of my absolute favorite humans.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I know it gets emotional, doesn't it? Because we have a heart connection. And although I am presenting differently, inside I am the same person. I simply just operate from neutrality and above.
Yeah, so beautiful. Oh, means so much. Thank you. So let's get into the topic at hand and bring in the wisdom that Mother Malia has for us for the times we are in. So we know we are in a time of great transition. There is a lot happening. And the topic that's on everybody's mind, whether they are a business owner or preparing to be one, they are awakened, they know something's happening. The money conversation is what's happening. Everybody is worried about the money.
Yes. And of course we would be because we have been programmed to be on our devices so much. And there is nothing wrong with these devices. They serve us. This simply is what it is, isn't it? This is how we connect now. And we are also aware that these devices transmit frequencies that alter our perception, that perhaps make us afraid, perhaps make us feel depressed, perhaps make us feel a little combative. We are aware that there is perpetual, we are in. And I do not like to use these words. However, I will use them simply to illustrate a point that we are, or let me rephrase this. These little dark creatures on the planet think that they are at war with us. We are not at war with them. However, we are needing to respond to the war that's been placed upon us. And the ultimate war is a frequency war. And so it is incumbent upon us to be mindful of the frequencies that we expose ourselves to. And of course, to focus much more on raising our own frequency as opposed to paying attention to that, but recognizing that our frequency increases to the degree that we separate from the devices that are transmitting frequencies that interrupt us. And in this case, money. Because if you look at the repetition, there is constant repetition. That is a way to spellcast.
Yeah. Yes.
And so if you keep spellcasting me that the economy is doing something, that it may not be doing, and in fact it is not doing. We're simply being told it is doing that, but it is not doing that. That is an example. Then we still get to choose where we direct our attention. And so if we have, and many of us do, of course, myself included, if we have unresolved, I will call it money trauma, naturally our brain will pick up information that supports the trauma. So then even at that, when I will say pokes at the wound, we still have the choice to say, well, will I accept this as truth, or will I address the wound so that I no longer have this reaction? Because here's what happens. And this is one of the wonderful teachings that I love to share with people. It is one of my favorites, which is that we are all wired to be observers. We are all observing. So we can observe what is happening in the world. We can observe what is happening around us in our social circles. We can observe our relationship with money and just say, oh, that is money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I received a bill. Oh, I received a payment. Those are observations.
Mm-hmm.
They become judgments when we place meaning on them. And so what is happening is that we judge money,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't like to be judgmental because we are wired to be observers, not judgers.
Mm-hmm.
And so on a very deep level of consciousness, it is the judgment of money. Let's take food, for example. Let's take a bag of nacho chips.
Mm-hmm.
So I observe these nacho chips and I say, oh, that is a bag of nacho chips.
Mm-hmm.
I might even observe and say, oh, I seem to be interested in wanting to eat those nacho chips.
Mm-hmm.
Where it becomes judgment is I say, I shouldn't have those nacho chips because they are bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a bad person for wanting those nacho chips. And I have no self-control. And we go down a big rabbit hole. The judgment then turns into shame. And
Mm-hmm.
shame feels very heavy in the body. And it is not impossible to make money in judgment and shame. It simply means that we have to work harder for it because we are not comfortable receiving through the frequency of judgment and shame. And then it becomes doubly binding if I look at those nachos and I've also decided instead of this just being objective nachos, I've decided they are bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am bad and they are bad. And then I am doubly consuming bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I use this as an example because I know we can all relate because again of the programming around food. So
Mm-hmm.
the same will be true for money.
Mm-hmm.
Money is simply a tool and intellectually we know that.
Mm-hmm.
And we are also products of a planet
Mm-hmm.
that is heavily programmed, that we are deprogramming from.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we deprogram, the opportunity is to start going into observation mode and to start catching ourselves when we try to place meaning on things.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to money. The way you just explained it, Jennifer, was so clear. The concept isn't completely new to me, but the frequency in which it's Mother Malia, right? It's Mother Malia frequency. It was just so clear. And thank you for using the example of nacho chips, because most of us can kind of relate to, right? A bag of chips, right? So if we begin to have a different conversation about money and come from a place of an observer, it's just a device that's available to us to use, tool that's available to us to use, and become an observer with it. The way you just said it, oh my gosh, you guys rewind it and listen again, because something will enter your awareness in a new way. I am consuming double bad. I am bad for being with the money the way I am, if I am in judgment of it. And money is bad. Now I am consuming double bad. And that, who wants to consume double bad?
Exactly. So then also look at, so another thing, and it ties into money, is that we are, and I was included in this, because when we have healing businesses,
Mm-hmm.
we want to help people.
Yeah.
And what happens is we get hooked into some very old paradigms around healing. Mm-hmm. And so those very old and unconscious paradigms are woven into things being a problem and people being a problem. And so if we look at business, especially as healers, and we look at, let's say, client attraction, because client
Mm-hmm.
attraction, of course, determines the income that's generated in the company.
Yeah.
If we have judgment or shame around how we are marketing to people or what we are offering people, if we
Mm-hmm.
already just feel in judgment of ourselves that we are a bad person, or I might do harm, or maybe I'm not qualified
Mm-hmm.
enough, or whatever,
yeah,
client attraction will naturally already be more challenging because of the judgment,
mm-hmm.
especially if the judgment turns to shame.
Mm.
And then we also will look at, so we actually are wired to be in the paradigm of possibility. And so my point is that as we move into these new ways, there are new codes that I am transmitting that are coming through for money, mm-hmm. and for business. And where we are moving to is that we start everything with a blessing. I am the blessing, and I am going to bless others. And when we adopt that paradigm, money flows differently. Client attraction will flow differently. This will be non-negotiable in a few years, that anyone that simply operates from what can I get, who can I get, how much money can I make, and selling people. I will share an example in a moment of how that's playing out. But when we operate from how many people can my business bless today, we will be financially blessed. We don't do it because we know we will be blessed, but that simply will be the inevitability. So for those of us that are choosing the ascension path, we are ascending out of matrix-oriented programming and elevating into the original codes of how we are meant to serve and how we are meant to circulate energy. In this case, we still use money. It could be digital money, fiat money. It doesn't matter. It is still the energy of money. It is currency. And there will be ways that we work with water, by the way, to allow that, because water is the solution. So when you add things to water, it becomes a solution. When you add baking soda to water, it becomes a solution. Yeah. It is no longer baking soda and water independently. It becomes perhaps a cleaning solution or a whitening solution for your teeth, you know. Yes. And additionally, water is a conductor. And it is also currency. It is the current of water. And so one of the things we will be playing a lot with to create financial flow and to create blessings is to really be working with the intelligence of water. Does this make sense when I say
absolutely? Yeah. Yes.
So there are a lot of, I will say they will sound new, but yet be very familiar to the soul, because these are all original codes. We already know how to absorb nutrients without eating food. We already know how to be energized without needing coffee, as an example. I could give you so many examples of returning to our original codes. And that is part of why I come here, is to, yes, I come in times of great transition. However, I come because the goal is to restore humanity and the planet back to the original codes. And so even these devices that we are speaking on right now, I have immense gratitude for them, because but for them, we wouldn't be able to still touch people and bless people. Yes. It is about, if I allow myself to be puppeted by these devices and recognizing what they are and how I wish to use them and how I don't wish to use them, that will determine the degree of health, will determine whether I have a healthy relationship with them.
You just shared so much. Okay, so I'm going to go step by step.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the whole idea of blessing. I want to come back to devices because I think a lot of people get to have a better relationship with internet and social media and computers, because I think they're here to serve us. But the whole idea of a blessing, and when you said it, it just felt so expansive. And I think it's such a beautiful way that healers, especially, which I know our audience is made up of healers and creatives, will probably love to truly adopt the whole idea of, I am a blessing, my work is a blessing, what I do is a blessing. Oh, it just feels even good in my body as I say it.
Yes, because if you think about it, if I approached you right now and I will not do this, but let's assume I did. And I just said, hey, Anna, I'm hosting this thing. And I would just like you to be aware of it, because it might serve you if you decide to join us for this, you know, program I'm running, for example. And if I was pulling on your energy, you would have no choice but to pull away, because I would need something from you.
Yes. Yep.
But if I truly believe that this invitation is a blessing, your answer may be no, and I'm okay with that, of course, because it is not meant to pull energy. It is simply meant to make you aware of the way in which I might be able to bless your business such that you get the desire you want, which perhaps is more money, or for client attraction to be easier, or whatever that might be. And so there are a few ways that we pull. One is that if someone is simply just very money focused, they will simply just be attached to the sale, and we can all feel that. That's the thing, because we are in a frequency war, because the ascension is all about frequency. And so what we are noticing online, for example, is we can feel the texture behind people's content even more so than, let's say, a year ago. We can feel if that frequency has attachments to it, if it is sincere. If that person tells me they're sincere in their content, but I still feel like I'm just a number, or whatever the situation will be. And so as we ascend, if we are just choosing to be a blessing in what we offer, whether or not people resonate with the invitation, they will still feel a clean energy. It won't repel them. They will still be watching for when that one blessing is offered that they say, oh, yes, I need this blessing. But our content will convert much more easily because it is infused with the frequency of blessing versus I need your approval, or it means something about me if I make this sale or I don't make this sale. A lot of it is internal, actually, right?
Yeah.
Am I worthy of this sale?
Yes.
Am I capable? I need approval. If people don't buy from me, it means I'm not likable, and all the various things, right? And so when we focus on the blessing, it will make it a lot easier for people that are also in tune to purchase from us because the energy is clean.
Yeah, so beautiful. I feel that I can sense it's going to give a lot of people permission to put their work out into the world, who are watching right now, to put their work out into the world from that place, not having to figure out everything, but come from a place of a blessing and an invitation. Who can I bless? Can I bless you with this invitation?
Yes, and one of the terms that is more preferable and may feel more preferable for people when they think of the word marketing is to shift it into broadcasting. I am broadcasting that I have this invitation for you. I am broadcasting that I am opening the door, so to speak, to this particular thing. You see how it sounds different. Because with broadcasting, you see how you cannot be in the energy of shame and judgment, because if you're broadcasting, there's an element of being proud. I'm not talking about being egotistical. I'm talking about, I am proud of this offer. This excites me. I'm so excited to serve you in this way. And so the broadcasting is almost like you can put your shoulders back and say, I am proud to invite you to this, because most of what people offer, they are not proud of.
Yes. Oh, that is so true. So true.
And that is why things will not convert, because there is still some lingering judgment and shame, I will say, in the frequency of what they've created. And there's no judgment on my part for that, because of course I have done the same thing over the years without realizing it.
Yeah. Oh, there is so much beauty even in the word broadcast. What I'm hearing is in marketing. This is the energy of marketing that I am sensing right now that I actually never put together. So thank you, Mother Malia, for offering that here in the space. In marketing, there is the pull energy. I am marketing it to you because I expect something. When I'm broadcasting, it is coming from me. In marketing, there's the push-pull, right? I'm pushing and I'm pulling. In broadcasting, it is energy coming from me to let you know it is your choice. Now it is your choice.
Yes.
Would that be a correct way
Yes,
to?
and also we are the signal, right? So if we already are the signal tower, radiating out frequency all the time. We are always broadcasting signals. And the thing about being a signal is that you get to encompass 360 degrees simply by 1 nanosecond of an intention. I am broadcasting this frequency. But with marketing, there is effort.
Yes. Yes. Oh, this is so good. This is so good.
And thank you for pulling this out of me.
This is so good. This is gold right here. Whew.
Yes. And so imagine if it does not mean we do not take some action steps, of course, in our business, right? We say, okay, well, for example, you and I are speaking. How else would people know about me if they did not have an invitation to, and same with you, of course, to learn. And so there will be certain ways that we deliver or broadcast the invitation to your salon, for example. So some of those things will still be important when we look at how do humans buy and where are humans hanging out? They're hanging out on social media. So of course, but are we marketing to them or are we broadcasting to them?
I am changing my language right now. I am becoming in this moment intentional to replace marketing with broadcasting. It feels different in my body.
Yes, it feels so spacious, doesn't it? And it doesn't feel burdensome. It doesn't feel like we have to contrive something or what am I going to say today? Because first and foremost, we're broadcasting the frequency.
Yes. And then words or pictures or whatever it is we choose to use are just an expression of that. It's almost like it eliminates this need to, and of course there is a layer to it. So I don't want to disqualify a way to speak that people can hear us. But beyond it, when it's broadcasting, it's truly the energy. So we don't have to, and this is what I'm hearing you say, we don't have to get lost in saying something in particular way that has people, almost like manipulated into buying.
Yes. Can we talk about the manipulation for a moment?
Yes, sure. Came out, so let's go.
Yes. Well, I will backtrack by saying that one of the opportunities that we have as business owners that are in the helping profession is to look at where is the matrix, where is the inverted triangle of savior, suffering, and sacrifice in our business. Are we making offers? Are we creating programs to save people? Do we believe that people are suffering, and do we view them as already suffering before we are about to communicate with them?
So good.
And then the sacrifice piece, because the sacrifice is the religion of the dark creatures. And if you think about how often we associate sacrifice with having, right? I must sacrifice my health for money.
Yeah.
I must sacrifice my time with my children to run my business. I must sacrifice something. And we see this a lot in burnout, even with those of us that are high frequency. There can be burnout in the business because we are sacrificing something in order to serve.
Yeah.
All of that is an inversion. It creates an inverted triangle that we inevitably have built things upon, including our business and money. So I share that because some people are aware of that and use it for their gain. So, for example, we can see this on, I will say, in the online marketing world, where there are coaches that I will call cliquey coaches. And they are there because they are helping us heal our outcast wound. People are driven to go into those spaces with the promise of results, and they are aware that they are not getting results, but they stay because there is a hook to keep poking at their outcast wounds so they don't feel left out, because every single human wants to belong.
Yes.
And we already do. It is the illusion that has told us we don't belong. And so if unconsciously we have a need to belong and we tie our business results into belonging, then we will be magnetized to those communities because we would rather be part of the cool kids club than to receive proper guidance and the results that can create that. And so for some of these coaches, and this is real, and it is, I do not appreciate it because I would like people to operate with honor. However, I will share this so that all of us can recognize this. So there are some coaches out there, and I say coaches, but healers, light workers, mentors, whatever the term is, where they will knowingly study cult-inspired religions to see how these cult/religions, and I do view them as the same thing, frankly, to figure out how do they compel people to join their religion and how do they keep them in there. There are people that instead of just saying, hey, I will be a blessing, they expend hours studying how to mind control you, to get you into their programs, promising you results. And so you might get a quick win. And so then you say, oh, I've got a quick win, so this container must be good for me, but then nothing else really. And I'm talking quick win, like a small win, but enough of a quick win. There are coaches out there that study casino models, knowing that the casino never lets you leave. It is designed to never let you leave, and they never say goodbye to you when you leave the casino on purpose because they never want you to feel complete. And so what happens when you go into the casino? You put $20 in a machine and you win $2 within maybe 5 times.
Yeah.
And then you get the dopamine hit. And this is where I'm going. You get the dopamine hit and you say, oh, well, I'm already winning in this space. I don't want to leave until I make my money back. I don't want to leave until I leave with $100. There are coaching worlds right now that have studied theme parks to make people stay and never leave, casinos, bars, and cult-inspired religions to hook you through your dopamine. Because if you are needing a hit, and I will explain this, if you can remind me, Anna, to come back to this about intoxication. If you look at the dark creatures on the world stage, these devices that are created are dopamine-inducing devices. This is why they have become an issue. As a tool, they are not, but because there are frequencies in there, and our fear of missing out and so on will have us go to the device that connects us to the worlds that allow us to feel like we belong, the online marketing world, social media, etc. And so they already know. They already are constantly interfering with our dopamine, but they also create dopamine hijacking, I will say, tools and processes to keep us out of our sacred calling, to keep us distracted, to keep our frequency lower than it can be. And so that same methodology is knowingly being used in the online coaching world, where instead of just saying, hey, let me go and serve people and be a blessing and actually help them get results, they know exactly the ratio between a quick win and all of the mind control that is required to pull you in and keep you in their world, continuing to pay them without getting results.
Wow.
And you know this to be true.
Yes, I do. The way you explained this, though, Mother Malia, your honesty is so refreshing.
Yes, I am very direct. Yes, I know.
And I think it's very powerful and it's refreshing, because I think a lot of people do get lost in that, and they don't understand why. And then they get turned off to the whole entire field of support, not knowing that what really didn't work was the channel they chose, the place they chose to be supported by. But there is another way. There are healers, coaches that are doing good work, and they're doing it from a place of blessing.
Yes, exactly. And so with blessing people, some people cannot receive, or some people are nervous about holding success. And so they kind of let some of it fall away again. You understand?
Yeah.
But the dopamine is very significant, because we can see that in this frequency war that has been placed upon us, one of the ways that they hijack us and keep us distracted and keep us maybe in worry and depression and so on is by interfering with the inherent production of dopamine that is natural for the body. The body actually knows how to create that. And so what I will share is, yes, Malia, as the great mother, she oversees the other mothers, so to speak, almost like a council. She comes here as the bee, which is the highest form of highest frequency on the planet, and bees are responsible for creation. We see how right from birth they try to replicate the bee sting through fake bee stings, aka vaccines, which of course are not even vaccines. We see the mechanical hums that they create to try and replicate the humming in a hive. We see the mechanical ringtones on phones that are designed to sound like a bee but are not. There is, if you all spend time with it, you will see how much hijacking of the bee there is, and that is one of many.
Wow.
The destruction of trees, which means less actual homes for beehives, etc., etc., and the chemical interference with plants and so on. And so the bee is not, of course, the only required frequency on this planet, but of course the planet is very different without a pollinator, because she is focused on creation. And so Malia is a very ancient being, and she is aligned with divine perfection, which is why you feel this neutrality, because in divine perfection, everything takes care of itself. It is complete trust and surrender. Divine perfection is love, it is truth, and it is protection. And so at times you will hear me like I'm sharing now, because it is from a place of divine protection that I do not appreciate people being knowingly manipulated into separating them from their money. I do not appreciate that. And so I will speak truth into that. But as we were speaking, Anna, Malia being neutral is operating in neutrality or above. So that means peace and joy. And when joy is sustained in the body, and most people enjoy being around me because I'm always channeling joy, and joy becomes ecstasy, which can feel overwhelming in the body. Ecstasy is the highest frequency on the planet. It is sustained joy.
Mhm.
And what happens with ecstasy? We get intoxicated. We get intoxicated with life. We are
Mhm.
here, we are wired to be intoxicated with the
Mhm.
beauty of the planet and the nectar and the flowers and so on, just like the bee.
Mhm.
And so we can see the attempts right away, right from birth, to interfere with the sacred process of intoxication, to give us spirits,
Yeah.
to give us gambling,
Mhm.
to give us shopping addictions and various things,
Mhm.
to replicate
Mhm.
the deep desire in our consciousness to be intoxicated with life.
Oh, this is okay. So we came back to intoxication. This is so powerful. So, oh, this is so powerful. And you mentioned too that all of it also is to keep us away from our purpose, which our purpose is intoxicating when we are on purpose, because, you know, that's,
Yes.
we are intoxicated with life because we feel alive and we feel like the creation moving through us. Whoa, this is so good.
So all of us at some point have been exposed to interference in this way, right? To
Mhm.
have us not be able to experience the way the intoxication is intended in our original coding is what I'm trying to share.
Mhm.
And so it's inevitable in this world as it is now that we have various attempts to keep us addicted to something. And so
Yeah.
I share this because now that we're hearing this, we have greater awareness now.
Mhm.
And then in that awareness, when we are about to step into a new program, for
Mhm.
example, maybe we are in the market for a new mentor or some program speaks to
Mhm.
us, we can assess and ask different questions. We really want
Mm.
to know, is that coach getting clients a quick win, or are they actually getting the wins that they have told? So for example, there is a
Mhm.
person that
Mhm.
I'm aware of who has 100,000 people on their email list.
Mhm.
So, and they will constantly say that they create a ton of six-figure earners. However, they have not created a single one.
Oh.
So the percentage of people, if
Mhm.
even 1% of that person's community became a six-figure earner,
Mhm.
that would be 1,000. That person should have produced 1,000 six-figure earners. You understand?
Yes. Mhm.
And so you can tell me all of you want in your marketing that you are getting people results.
Mhm.
But it is on me as the consumer to ask. And I will not ask if I'm seeking a dopamine hit, because you see how that person will be good at giving a dopamine hit.
Yes.
Because maybe she has helped someone sell their first 5K package.
Mhm.
And so they go, oh, I'm winning.
Mhm.
But they never repeat it because there's no ability in a container like that to create sustainable, repeatable growth.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Oh, this is so good. So one, we're talking about like full out lying in marketing, which I know happens. I mean, I'm not shocked by
Yes.
that. I've seen it all the time where I know the background story and I know it's not in alignment with what I'm hearing or seeing the person.
Yes.
And then there is, so this is so great because what I'm hearing is it comes back, the person will do what they'll do. It's not
Yes.
us to change. It's not up to us to change. I don't think it's even up to us to like all of a sudden, reveal them to the world. Of course, the human me wants to know who it is, but I'm not going to ask. It doesn't matter because I think it's on every single one of us to then determine if I'm choosing somebody. This is a beautiful place that you are inviting us to. If I'm choosing somebody, is there a dopamine hit in the way that they are sharing their messaging that I am hooked to?
Yes. Yes. What is my motivation for wanting to join this person in their program? Because there's nothing wrong. For
Yeah.
example, you hold a harmonic frequency that people will be magnetized to, and they will just know that your frequency is required to combine with theirs to create
Yes.
the outcome they want. That is
Yes.
how it is meant to be. What will happen is we do not ask the question. So we want to ask, why am I feeling pulled to this person? What, if any, unmet needs do I have that I feel that they might fill? And if I go in there with this unmet need, will that need be filled? And hint, it will not, because it will be on us to fill that need.
Yeah.
And so what will happen is we see this happen a lot, where people will go into a program like that, necessarily knowing that they have an unmet need. But of course, that need can never be met, because that is not the function of that program. And so they go through another program, not getting the results that they want.
Yeah.
And then it keeps repeating. So we must ask, what truly is pulling me towards this? Because keep in mind, people will use NLP in their sales pages. There's nothing wrong with NLP, again, as a tool. Objectively, it is when it is being used intentionally to poke at your psychological profiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is another thing, by the way. This same person I mentioned will use psychological profiling to speak into your shadow psychology to compel you to buy. So instead of speaking to possibility, they speak to your deep, deep, deep fears without you even knowing it in their copy. So in awareness, as we ascend, we become more aware. We now, of course, a lot of times, if we are committed to it, with I know everyone here is, we will just sense the frequency. We don't need to wait for evidence as to why the frequency doesn't feel aligned for us. We simply just honor the feeling. But if we have an unmet need, there are many people out there that are marketing to the unmet need.
Yeah, this is beautiful. What I'm getting through this share, this segment of the share, is something that I felt for a while. I spoke about we are clearing the energy of money for a while, that we, the light workers, are clearing the energy of money. And but another layer that I'm sensing through this is we get to clear the support industry, the coaching, healing industry. And the way that we do it is not necessarily by the people who are doing it from a for manipulation of money or whatever it is, a quick win. It's not necessarily up to them again to leave. It is up to us to eliminate the need for being in that codependent, because it's codependency to me.
That's exactly what it is. And I was just about to say, when we are willing to see it, these exact people I am telling you about openly talk about their addictions.
Yes.
And so it does not mean that someone cannot overcome an addiction. But some people can stop the, let's say, consumption of alcohol, I will say, but they still have an addictive personality.
Yes.
And that addictive personality is fed through codependency. So they have to do this research to hook you in, because it is actually their need for you to be codependent on you, but also for you to be codependent on them. And so this is said, of course, with the greatest amount of love, that often people that are working through their codependency issues will find themselves in dopamine. I do not know what to call it, but those programs that really hook you in through dopamine because of that. And so if you no longer have a need to enmesh, to belong, then you naturally will not be gravitating towards programs that facilitate that. It simply will be, there won't be resonance.
Yes. Oh, that's the vision that I'm going to hold, because I definitely know that our industry gets to be cleansed, cleared, renewed, or up leveled in the frequency. And it's going to happen. And that's why it's going to happen through us, but that's why I'm a big stand that those who are watching right now, you who's watching this interview right now and tuning into the frequency, you must do your work and put your work in the world, because I can sense it. You wouldn't find your way to this conversation if you weren't in alignment with integrity and honor. I love word honor. I love the whole idea of honor.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And if you found your way here, it is likely also because you're feeling the urgency.
Yeah. Yes.
When Malia came into my body, it was eight weeks ago at the time we're recording this. I was hosting my Sedona retreat, and she woke me up in the middle of the night. And I asked, why are you coming in like a tsunami? Because it actually woke everyone up. Everyone, because we became a super organism. Everyone that was in the retreat woke up at the same time she came in.
Wow.
Not knowing, of course, what was happening. Yeah. But they all woke up and felt like, oh, today's day at the retreat is going to be different. It is going to feel like a sacred mission. And it was. We had some serious clearing to do around the artificial agenda, which is why, again, back to the devices, I'm just mindful of that, because they are designed to hook us into the artificial agenda. the reality TV shows,
Yes.
the false world, and so on and so on. So, but point is, I said, well, why now? And she said, there is urgency, there is impending doom on the planet. And 6 days later, there was the bombing in Israel. And of course, we are well aware of how all of that has been playing out, but also because this is the year of the light worker and we are reclaiming our planet. And so many people will be pulled out of these last little remnants of how the controllers have hooked us into an old world so that we can be restored in our new codes. And that naturally means if we are ascending, that our money and business systems have to ascend.
Yeah. Yes.
And many of us do not, we have already been feeling, especially you and I have talked about this many times, Anna, even in 2019, many of us were feeling like, ooh, this way of marketing does not feel good. What is it? Where is the new way of marketing? And then even from 2020 to now, it has changed a lot, and it will change again next year because people, the urgency to serve from our highest ascension point is trumping everything. And so we simply will not be available for any methods that take us out of blessing being the leading, I will say, driver in everything we do. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. And it's so easy. It is so easy because you must all know, you know that you are a blessing. You simply would not be sent here to take up space as though you are a piece of garbage blowing around on the ground. You are gold. You are golden light. You are invaluable and you are loved. Everyone, and believe me, I can tell you, not everyone will be able to receive the love that comes through you when you're simply channeling love.
Yeah.
And that is okay, because in objectivity, instead of judgment, you will recognize that and you will simply have compassion and say, I hope one day this person is able to receive love. And then we simply move on to those who are ready to be blessed.
That was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I am moved to tears, but my wish is that everyone who is tuning into this receives this beautiful calling that is just moved through my body. And my wish is that same thing happens for you, that you feel that sense of energy that Mother Malia, you just awakened in all of us. Even the ones who gave it lip service to some degree, we now can feel to a whole new level the sense of urgency to do the work we are here to do, to be the light workers like we say we are, and serve from a place of a blessing. Oh, Mother Malia.
Yes, and then we can all go to Venice together and take back our planet from the little silly creatures that are trying to take over our planet. I say that playfully, of course, because even in the sophistication of the systems they think they have to do so much in hiding because they are in fact unsophisticated, and they will, I promise, this is not me bypassing, this is truth. They simply cannot override the technology of our ascension frequencies. They simply cannot. And so if we would like our planet back, we simply just commit to being a blessing, sharing our frequency, being mindful of amplifying it and staying away from frequency interrupting devices and so on. And that is a big chunk of how we will get our planet back. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that vision. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, Anna, we were speaking and we've been speaking a lot over the last few years, and the human that's inside of me would have told you that sounded like spiritual bypassing and like, airy-fairy.
Yeah.
But now that I am in this energy and seeing what I can see now, and we have a lot of very exciting things happening this year, including the arrival of the new people that are going to support us. So there's a lot of wonderful things to look forward to. And I will say also, Anna, if you don't mind me adding this in,
please,
that in the sense of urgency and in choosing our highest ascension point, what is happening? It is awakening a level of stewardship in us. So stewarding the animals, stewarding the children, stewarding the land. There's this sense of sacred stewardship for, and the reason why we want to be making more money, by the way, to support the sacred stewardship. And inherent in that is we also look in our immediate realm and say, am I being an impeccable steward of my body? Am I being an impeccable steward of my money? Am I being an impeccable steward of my company? And for me, I will simply share that I only have one standard, and it is on me to honor the standard. And that is honor. That is my standard.
That makes it simple.
And so if stewardship for me is filtered through honor, then it is on me to say, is everything in my business that I am sending out honorable? And am I allowing people in my spaces, mainly team members, it's not so much clients, but let's say team or vendors that are operating at a level of honor that is a match for what is required for this very sacred space that I now have in my business. You understand, it's even more sacred than before. And the same with money. Am I allowing people access to it that are not matching my level of stewardship that's required? So perhaps you have a financial advisor that you feel like you are just a number and you've been feeling for a while that it's time to shift or something, you understand, or perhaps an institution that is holding your money and you keep getting the nudge to move it to a different institution. I would invite you to honor those nudges, because you will not have evidence of why you got the nudge until after you did it. We all know that, right? But we wait for empirical evidence to show us why we should move before we move, instead of honoring the nudge.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Honor the nudge before you get the evidence. Just honor it from the very beginning, because you are absolutely right. If we keep waiting for evidence, we'll find it. It'll be there, but it might be past the point of us being able to get out of it in a way that's elegant.
Yes, that is a good way to put it. We will still will still come to an end, but it likely will not be as elegant as we would like.
Yeah, so good. Oh, Jennifer and Mother Malia, thank you for so much wisdom. There is so much in this one transmission, in this, because it's not even a conversation, it's a transmission of energy that's put in such beautiful words. Make sure you watch it again. Make sure you tune into the words and tune into the frequency. So amazing. And get into Jennifer's world. So there is a golden button below this video, and Jennifer has a beautiful gift for us. Can you tell us what it is? Do you remember?
I wish I could remember, but
okay.
I'm sure it is a lovely gift. I feel like, go ahead.
It's money related. So it's the gift. Yes, it's the healing money.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes. And so in there, I talk about the 5 main blocks to money, because what will happen is we keep chasing our tail and perhaps even spending money to try and uncover why we're not making what we want, and never really feeling like we're getting ahead. And so once we understand, oh, this core fear is what keeps compelling me to relate to money the way I am, then in that awareness, we can shift the fear and turn it from a fear into an anointing. That is one of Malia's greatest teachings, is the things that annoy us, or the things that feel pesky, that are not leaving us alone, are anointing us to something. Isn't that beautiful?
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
So the fear is asking to be transmuted into something that actually will be a blessing to you. And so although that is that teaching would require several weeks, of course, but at least this gets you started to see yourself in it. Because please know that I've been doing this for 20 years, uncovering money blocks. It is also my anointing in my astrology chart, incidentally, to help lightworkers make more money. And so you are not alone, is my point. We will be in the privacy of our own thoughts, thinking, oh, I'm a big weirdo. What's wrong with me? Why can't I make money? How come this person makes more than me? And various things. But I will guarantee, regardless of how much money people are making, we all have these fears in common. And there will be one or two that are more prominent than the others. And so even just having the awareness is enough to shift the energy. But then the awareness inspires us to take either the actions or to facilitate the inner frequency work to move us out of that fear and transform it into whatever the anointing is. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, yes. Oh, it's beautiful. What a blessing.
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Make sure you click the button. First of all, get the gift, because just like you heard, it is a beautiful gift to support you in seeing what is the space where you get to transform your fear into anointing so you can begin to claim the next level of your wealth. And get into Jennifer's world so you can connect with Mother Malia. I know, Jennifer, you have many, many different Mother Malia, Jennifer, both of you. Both of you in one are creating so many ways for people to connect with Mother Malia and get the wisdom. I mean, this time that we just had together, just this time alone has been so tremendous, and I can sense it's going to support a lot of people. So get into Jennifer's world, click the button, claim the gift, get into her world so you can benefit from Mother Malia's energy and frequency. Oh, to be one of the active light workers for 2024. Thank you again, Jennifer and Mother Malia. This is beyond tremendous, so generous. What a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for now.